Hello everyone, welcome to the Celebration Station Classroom. I'm so glad you can join me today. Today we're going to create with lesson kit number 3, and we are going to need a few supplies to get started. Let's jump in and go over the items that we're going to need. We are going to do a little stamping, so you're going to need an acrylic block or a stamping positioner. You're also going to need some black ink that you can use with your markers. I'm using Copic markers today. I'm going to be using the same colors that I used for our first two classrooms. So break those markers out. We're also going to need some glue, and we're going to need a tape runner and our scissors. I am going to do a little bit of highlighting with my white gel pen, but if you don't have a white gel pen, you don't actually need it. And I think that is it. Oh, you know what? Let's bring in a craft pick just in case. We're going to be using some of our gems, so craft picks are always nice. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of stamping. So we're going to put everything aside except for our acrylic block and our black ink, and we're going to go ahead and open up our project lesson kit. This one has your sequins floating. You might want to let them float to the bottom and then put them in your little triangle that came with the lesson kit this month. That way I don't lose them. And then we'll set this aside. And then in your lesson kit, there is some white cardstock. It's on the thinner side. That's how you can kind of tell. It's not the big one, it's the smaller one, guys. So grab your smaller one and let's do a little stamping. In your stamp set, there is some party hats. Well, one party hat, I should say. It's this one right here. We're going to take that and put this on an acrylic block. And then we'll ink it up. We're going to stamp 3 of the party hats. Let's stamp 3 of them. And we're going to stamp with our black ink. Lovely. I didn't mention it. I always forget the wipes. But if you have wipes, break those out so you can clean your stamp. Or you can use your little stamp chamois to wipe off your party hat. And we'll put this back in our stamp set so we don't lose it. And keep this out because we're going to stamp our sentiment from here also. So I'm going to zoom in and then we're going to do a little bit of coloring. And again, our coloring has been pretty basic. We're going to use pinks for our first party hat. I'm using R81 and R83. And we are going to color in the second stripe on the hat. We're going to skip one and then color in the next. And then we're going to color in the very bottom stripe. We're going to alternate pinks for this card. Next, I'll take my R83. We'll add a little bit of shading to the left of our stripe, and then we'll add a little bit of shading to the right. And then we'll blend them both together. And then I'm also going to take my R81, my lightest pink, and we're going to go over one more of the party hats. I'm going to go over the top one here, and then we'll go over, we'll skip one, go over the next, and then this one we're going to go over the very top. So basically it's the opposite of this one. And then we'll use our darkest shade, which is R83, and we'll add a little bit of shading to the left, and then to the right, and then we'll blend them both together. Now we're going to take our RV colors, our darker or fuchsia pinks. I'm using RV 25, and we're going to color in this bottom party hat with our lightest, darkest pink, if that makes any sense. And then we'll do the same thing that we did with the rosy pinks. Just fill in those stripes. And then I'll take my darkest pink, which is RV 29, and we'll do a little shading like we did on our rosy pinks. And we'll blend them both together with the lightest pink. And you know what, I missed the little pom-pom up here. I'm going to take my R81 and just add a little bit of color to it. Okay. Now we're going to go back to this party hat's all done. Now we're going to go ahead and finish off this one with our teal. So I'm taking BG 10, our lightest teal. I'm going to add my color to those stripes that aren't colored in. And then I'm also going to add some teal stripes to this one. We're going to skip the bottom one, color it in, skip one again, color it in, and do the very top. Okay. Now I'm going to take my darker teal, which is BG 32, and we'll add a little shading. And I'm going to color in the pom-pom with my darker teal for this one. And I'm going to do the same little shading on my other party hat here. And I'll blend them all together with my lightest teal, which is BG 10 again. Lovely. Now we have one party hat left, and we are going to fill this in with our greens. I'm going to use YG03. Just color in those open stripes. I'm going to color in the pom-pom with my YG03. And then I'm going to take my darker YG06 and do a little shading like we did with the rest. And blend them both together. And we are good to go. Those are our party hats. Now I'm going to use my scissors. We're going to fussy cut these out. Leaving a little bit of a border. And I like to kind of do a little zigzag around that little pom-pom. Just makes for a better party hat. There's one. And if you go outside the lines, you can always use your white gel pen. Clean up those colors. And we'll do our final party hat here. Wonderful. Okay, so those colorings are all done. Now what we're going to do is inside your pile here, there is a photo frame, and then there is a piece of cardstock that's the same size as the back of the photo frame. You can actually grab our acetate too. Let's take these keep the photo frame in there as a guide. And then we're going to stamp happy birthday on the inside of our photo frame. So let's take our black ink, and in our stamp set there is happy birthday. We'll take that. Kind of go over it with your hand, kind of season it a little bit. And we're going to stamp happy birthday in the middle on the left. So about over here. It'll probably be more like over here. And get up, and then we'll stamp this. Perfect. And I'm going to use my stamp chamois and clean off my happy birthday and put that back. Okay, now we can remove our photo frame. And then we're going to basically do the same thing that we did with card number 1. We're going to create a flat shaker. So to do that, we're going to take our photo frame, flip it around. I guess you don't have to really flip it around because it's all white. It's a habit for me to say that. I'm going to take my glue, and then we are going to add a thin bead of glue. You don't want to add too much glue. If you guys have a glue wand, you guys could use that. And just add a thin bead of glue around the window and also around the bottom. And then take your acetate and then just cover your panel. Your acetate should be the same size as your photo frame. Should be, but it's not. It might be a little bit bigger, and that's okay. Okay. And I have a little bit of glue, you can see here, kind of oozing out. So what I'm going to do is take a baby wipe, or my stamp chamois actually is better, or baby wipe, whatever you prefer. And you can clean off that glue on that acetate, just so it's not showing there. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it around, clean the inside too. And I have a little bit of excess overhanging, so I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors, trim that off. I have a little bit on the bottom too. I'm going to trim that off as well. Okay. Now what we're going to do is take our Stardust confetti here. And again, we can do the same thing that we did with our first card. Just kind of create a scoop with some paper. And then we open it up. There's a sticker on top that says pretty things inside. I put that on there on purpose. This way, you know which way to open your container. You don't want to open it upside down, so make sure it's the stickers on top. And we're going to take some of our little confetti and we're going to add that, kind of eyeballing where our window frame is. You want to keep it in there. And I'm going to spread it away from my sentiment, because when we smush these together, you don't want it to cover your sentiment. Add a little bit more. Got some runaways we'll put in there. I think that looks good. Now I'm going to add a thin bead of glue along my rectangle cardstock here. I'm going to flip over my window frame, and then I'm going to add a thin bead of glue just below the window. This way we don't want our confetti to fall down all the way down to the bottom so you can't see it. Okay, and then we can take our photo frame and we're going to sandwich those sequins once more. kind of creating a faux flat shaker. And if you want to hold this down with an acrylic block and let that glue set, you could. We're going to do that and set that over here. And in the meantime, we're going to work on our background panel. Okay, this spun foam is going to go behind our photo frame, so we'll set that over there. And then we're going to take the rest of our pattern paper and our cardstock. I'm going to zoom back out. And we are going to start off by taking our kind of green tealish colored cardstock, and this is going to yeah, let's put this all the way to the top using our tape runner. Lovely. And then we're going to add our bottom color, which will be the darker teal. We'll add some adhesive behind here. Put this all the way in the bottom, corner to corner. And then once we have this done, we're going to go ahead and, okay, flip this around, add adhesive behind it, and then we can add our gold cardstock. We're going to butt it right against our pattern paper. And we'll do the same with our next piece of gold cardstock. Line up the edge and then just butt that against that top portion of the pattern paper. Now we can take our pink stripe paper and add this. We'll put this one on top. Add this to the very top. And then we're going to take our next pattern paper, which is the green. We're going to add that to the very bottom. Okay, and I didn't realize, boy, I didn't do a really good job straightening or cutting these out. Flip over your panel, and anything, all the excess cardstock and pattern paper, you can go ahead and trim off. And then we have this open area here. We have a piece of the glitter cardstock, and this is going to go right over that white area. We're going to add a little sparkle. Lovely. And then we have two more pieces of pattern paper. And these are stickers. The last two that we have are stickers. So we're going to remove the release paper here. I like to kind of fold it. And then crinkle it a little bit. You don't have to crinkle it. Just remove that release paper. And then this is going to go in the center of our gold cardstock. Lots of stripes in this one. We'll do the same with our green and blue striped paper. We're going to go ahead and remove that release paper. And this is going to go on our bottom gold cardstock. Just center it so a little bit of that gold is peeking out. And you can fold those over or trim them off. I'm going to just trim them off. And then our background is good to go. I'm going to flip this over and we're going to adhere this to our card base. And it does leave a little bit of a white border, so you want to make sure it's centered. I love these colors. They're just bright and cheery. I have some glue or tape runner. So that's our background. Now we are going to finish our project. We're going to take our, it actually shakes. I don't know if your guys' shakes, but mine shakes a little bit. Look at, you can see it moving there, which is kind of nice. I'm going to go ahead and take our jute cord, and we're going to take some blue. I already have some here. I just trimmed down a small piece. We're going to go ahead and wrap this around our photo frame on the very bottom. Let's see. And we're going to tie a bow to the left, and it doesn't have to be that big of a bow. Our jute cord is a little bit bulky, but it's nice because it holds its shape. You can see here. It holds its shape really nice. Just I'm gonna make a small bow. I love it. And of course, you guys can do any color that you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be blue. So I think all those colors will coordinate. I'm going to trim the tail on one side. I had that a little bit longer. And then there is our little faux shaker. I'm going to flip this around, and then we are going to add some foam. And I'm just going to go right over that jute cord, and let's add our foam. And you might have to trim around. It might not fit perfectly, but okay. So our little shaker window is good. We're going to put this at a diagonal on our little card base. So let's add some glue behind our fun foam. And then we'll place this again at a diagonal. Basically in between the gold here. And we'll press down. Kind of hold it for a minute. Gives me a chance to clean up the desk a little bit and grab our party hats. For this card, we are going to use our gems, and we are also going to use our white gel pen. I don't want to forget to use that. And we're going to take a few of our stickers. For this card, we're going to use our corkboard star. Let me zoom back out of here. We're going to use our corkboard star. We're also going to use this star with the silver sequin on it. And the For You. And also the Today. I think that will work out good. Let's take our corkboard star. We're going to add this. I think we'll add it almost center, just below the bow here. And then before we add any more stickers, let's go ahead and put our party hats down. Our teal and our pink one, we're going to kind of tuck it underneath our bow at an angle. And then these two, we are going to go ahead and add adhesive behind. We're not going to add any foam adhesive because I think we have enough with that faux shaker. And I'm going to add the green one almost to this open area. And then we're going to almost crisscross the pink one so it's hanging over the top. How about? Let's tilt it a little more. Make it a little playful. I think that looks great. Now what we're going to do is take our other star that has that silver sequin. We're going to add that up in this corner. And then we're going to take our For You sticker and add this to the top left corner. Next we'll take our Today, and we're going to add this next to that party hat on our little shaker window. I think that looks good. We'll put our stickers back, and now we get to add some embellishments. First, I'm going to take my white gel pen, and we're going to do a little bit of highlighting on our party hats. And in the darker area, let's zoom in a bit. Darker area, we're just going to add, I like to add a line and a dot. A line and two dots, how about? And then we'll do the same thing on that upper one, maybe a line in one dot. And we'll do the same thing in our teal and add a little bit of highlight over here. I think that looks great. I'm going to take my craft pick and we're going to add just a few gems. I'm going to add a red one to the cork board. And I'm also going to add an orange one. Let's add this up in the... We'll add this next to that party hat here. Just add a little bit of sparkle. We'll add a green one. I'm going to switch it. Let's see. I'm going to put the orange one on top, up here, and then I'll add the green one back over here. We don't want the green on the green. I think that looks good. We don't want too many. And then we have our little sequins. Let's add a few. I'm going to add one over here and a couple, maybe one up here, and one we'll do a little tucking with, and then maybe one. Here, maybe we'll put one on the shaker. I'll use my wax jewel picker rubber. We'll add our gem on top here. We'll add one over here. We'll just add a few gems, or a little bit of sparkle. I'm going to add one more over here. Just maybe one up here too. And one over here. Kind of for a little bit of balance. For the one up here, I'm going to actually cut it because this one I want to kind of butt up against that for you. And I think that's a good balance. And then that will finish my card for the Celebration Station Classroom. This is lesson number 3. I hope you had I hope you enjoyed the process and the classroom and the project. I'm loving this classroom. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you same time, same place next Friday.